Let's try to enhance the security of DES. To do this, you can, for example, use a variant called DESX. The idea is to keep the algorithm while fixing some major problems. Making key size longer means that the number of operations required to test all possible keys will rise exponentially. The mode of operation of the DESX algorithm is as follows. The first block of input is XOR'd with the first 64-bit key. The result is encrypted using a 56-bit key. The result is then XOR'd with the third key that also has 64 bits. In theory, having 3 keys, their summary length is 184 bits. Key size, however, does not contribute directly to the ciphertext security. Cryptographic analysis shows that the practical security, the key's entropy, boosted from 64 to more or less 88 bits. This is a large step forward. DESX is considerably more secure than DES. The algorithm is relatively fast, which is why it was implemented in the EFS system, a file encryption system used in earlier Windows systems. Another variant of DES is 3DES, triple DES. The name says it all. The DES algorithm is applied in this solution 3 times to each data block. The mechanism is as follows. First, a block is encrypted like in DES. It is then decrypted using a different key. And finally, the result is encrypted using yet another key. As you remember, encryption is symmetric in data encryption standard. This operation doesn't really tighten the security. The second phase of the operation does not affect or improve the overall security of the ciphertext. The main downside of using triple DES is the cipher's low speed. It's possibly the slowest symmetric algorithm in use today. All other ciphers are much faster, and most of them are more secure. The practical security of triple DES is about 100 bits of strength. There are also other symmetric ciphers. Many of them belong to the RC, Ron Rivest code family. If you're guessing that the ciphers were created by Ron Rivest, turns out you're right. The first one we'll showcase is RC2. This special-purpose cipher was developed in 1987 for the software company Lotus. It was kept secret for some time at first until a researcher once again proved the principles we discussed earlier are true, and published the cipher's mode of operation on a Usenet group. RC2's supposedly strong security was soon debunked. The implemented block size was 64 bits. It's too short. The cipher is also susceptible to chosen plaintext attacks that we talked about earlier. Let's now comment on the attack categories. The first basic type of cryptanalysis attack relies on an attacker having access to the ciphertext only. This type of attack is completely passive. An attacker has access to the ciphertext and must crack it. The second class of attacks, known as plaintext attacks, involves the assumption that an attacker has access both to the plaintext and to the ciphertext. This is actually not infrequent at all. If you encrypt something in a network, an attacker can in most cases rightly assume that some information is heavily patterned. An email message very often starts off with "Hi," or when you encrypt data using SSL, an IP protocol header containing your PC's IP address will be at the start. In most cases, an attacker has, in fact, access to at least part of the plaintext and the ciphertext. The third attack category, plaintext injection, involves a manipulation of the plaintext in order to observe resulting ciphertexts. An attacker may send a crafted message to you without raising suspicions to make you encrypt it and send it back. This happens quite often as well. It's crucial for the system to be immune against the two latter attack models. All adequate algorithms are now secured against the ciphertext-only cryptanalysis attack. The true security of the RC2 algorithm is estimated at 34 bits. This means that it can be cracked instantly. Another version of the algorithm, RC5, was developed in 1994 for RSA. The algorithm is very flexible. Many variables used in the scheme can be altered. You can, for example, specify a round number, block size, and key length. There can be from 1 to 255 rounds, and block size can be from 32 to 128 bits. Keys can even be up to 2 kilobytes. The mechanism used in RC5 is depicted in the slide. We'll now discuss the algorithm's mode of operation briefly. First, a key has to be divided into subkeys. The number of subkeys must be equal to the selected number of rounds. Then, as usual, split the message block into 2 even pieces. The 2 halves are combined with the first 2 subkeys, the round keys. Then perform the XOR and transpose bits. Bits are reordered in the 2 halves. RC5 and its variant called RC6 were entered into a contest to choose the DES algorithm's replacement cipher. They did not come close to winning. Both algorithms are assessed negatively, and because of this, they're not considered particularly secure.